just like you said a minute ago, it's too much going on in the world not to be praying.
That's right. It's rough right now for these people in these hurricane states.
So on this clip, man, they just giving you a little advisory. We're gonna look over this a little bit.
It's time to start implementing your evacuation plans, preparing your family, your pets, your property, and your businesses. Do it right now while the weather's still clear and you still have time.
That's the smart choice.
When it's time, before those impacts come, you need to be out of the evacuation zone.
Gone.
This storm is a serious storm. The EOC is at a level 1 activation over the past 2 weeks for a response to Helene. We've been activated, operating at a level 2 to do recovery and response for Helene. We've suspended some of the resources for Helene right now to ensure that all those resources are ready to go back out. You do not have to leave the county. We have enough shelters for you. Check with your family and friends. I just need you to move out of Zone A and Zone B. And if you're in a mobile manufactured home, make sure you get out of there because we may see more wind for this particular event than we did for Helene.
We ordered evacuations for zones A and B for a very good reason. If you remain there, you could die. My men and women could die trying to rescue you. They are heroes, but please do not put them in that situation.
That's right.
Help them by leaving zone A and B today.
That's right.
If you delay until the storm arrives, emergency responders may not be able
people
to
still
reach
gonna
you until the
try
threat
to do that.
passes. You may be on your own.
Yes, this stinks. We know that. And it comes on the heels where a lot of us are still healing and recovering from Hurricane Helene. But if you safeguard your families, you'll be alive.
That's right.
We're going to lose electric. We know that. We know if you move outside that evacuation area, it doesn't mean you're not going to be uncomfortable. You may lose electric. And again, that's going to stink. That's uncomfortable. We're in Florida. It's warm.
Ooh, that's
but you'll
right.
be alive.
Yeah.
There's not a need to panic. There's just a need to be prepared. The great news is we have almost 48 hours to do it. Take advantage of this time. If you need sandbags, get some sandbags. You need those essential items. You need to relocate your loved ones. We're making it every resource that we can with this collaborative effort will be available. Again, to share one common goal. Common goal is to keep you and your families alive.
That's right.
Help us do that. The big difference between this storm and Hurricane Helene is the fact that between all the first responders and law enforcement, the sustained winds never went above 40. We never had to suspend service. We feel pretty confident, regardless of the track of this storm, that that's not going to be the case this time. When you make that phone call and help's not available, help's not coming,
That's scary.
I can't imagine what that feeling would feel
be
like.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you to not have to feel that feeling.
Don't put us in that situation.
I'm not even going. The whole situation sounds scary. But
It does. And it sounds like people are getting upset, and the way they're responding, it sounds like people are just upset that they have to evacuate.
Well, you got to think. People don't have the means and availability.
I know that.
And people have this mindset, I'm gonna ride it out. And people in life have been successful doing that, but a lot of people have lost their lives trying to ride out. That's normal. Forget this house.
Yeah.
Because
sorry.
it feels us in that situation. I still wouldn't, even though he said get out of counties A and B, I'll be getting out of state. We'll be getting out of state. So I wanted to hear from somebody. I want to hear, like, when someone has a family, what are they going to do? Like, what's their situation for somebody? You got kids and stuff like that. What's your situation? Do you have, like, because there's going to be a lot of people with this that don't have the ability to up and dip.
We're in evacuation zone A, apparently. That's the thing. If I could get out, I would, but where are we going? Everything is booked. There's nowhere to, unless you're hopping on a plane and evacuating your family, where's everybody going? I can't go north. Everything's booked. Where am I taking 6 kids and 4 dogs and 3 adults to?
God.
I can't go to a hotel. I can't go to a shelter like that. I would have to book like an Airbnb or something because I can't afford to do that. We just have to hunker down. Like, that's literally all we can do.
Wow.
And I just feel like we're sitting ducks now. I have 10 fucking ducklings to worry about.
That's sad. That is so sad.
She didn't say a man, did she? She didn't say a husband.
Oh, that's sad.
So even if they do mandatory evacuation, I don't know where am I supposed to go? We'll be the first zone to evacuate because we're Zone A. They already did mandatory evacuation for the beach. Where am I supposed to go? Unless you put your family on an airplane, which I can't afford to do. It's supposed to be a Category 4 when it hits the Gulf of Mexico, and then hopefully
Just felt her pain.
go back down to a 3 before it makes landfall somewhere between Fort Myers, which is where we live, to Tampa, which is our only other retreat, our home away from home, that our family away from home that welcomes us in. We were there for a whole week for the last hurricane. We can't even go there because that's literally the second location that this hurricane might possibly go. We can't take the chance of being stuck on the road. We don't all even fit in our vehicle. We have a 7-passenger Suburban and we have 8 people, plus my mother-in-law and 4 dogs.
Also, her husband is with her.
For Ian, the water came up to our front door. Hopefully that's the worst it gets again. The ground's already pretty saturated, so I feel like we're just sitting ducks. And
Yo,
Wow, that's
yeah,
sad.
I am going to be praying. That's what I felt on my spirit as I'm
I
watching
wonder why
this.
they just didn't see in this situation. You know, I know people may be a little skeptical sometimes about doing the GoFundMe's, but at this point, when you're in that type of situation,
You don't have enough time for a GoFundMe.
Well, true.
You got 2 days. 2 days.
But
And she said that's a family. That's 10 considerations. You got like 3 dogs, 6 kids. You got you and your husband. It's almost like y'all best bet is to get on the road right now and try to get out of
And
those
pack that
areas.
car out.
Pack the car out.
A Suburban.
Pack the car out, but just get out of that region.
yeah,
Even if you had to get a little crummy hotel and everybody had to fit into it, but it's away from that region to do that. But
Yeah.
don't
It
risk
may
your life
have
for
to
the family
be-
because it's a Suburban. Everybody gonna pack up in there. You gonna do what it do.
Now, even though too, I just didn't think about that. It's just it may not it sounds like I know she wants it to be comfortable for everybody,
Right, but it may not.
be. It may be 10 people in a hotel room that only can fit 4.
4.
But if that's the case, then people are not going to turn you away because of the situation.
No.
And then you need to be trying to get to Georgia. It's plenty of places you can go there.
I saw some spots
in
on the road
Georgia.
where they were like, I just saw like I don't know where this, well, I know this was because there was that long bridge that go over the ocean that sit low next to the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like stuck. Like, that's a scary bridge.
Closed, you mean?
The one that
yeah,
cross
it's-
over that take you
yeah,
on
it's
the
too
Miami
close.
side.
Yeah.
It's close to the water and then be stuck right there. I always felt uncomfortable on that bridge because the water is so close to you.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it'd been best for her you got 2 days. 2 days get enough to at least get you out of that area.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be comfortable in that situation, especially if you have a large family and you have limited resources. You need to be able to think fast and be able to say, hey, well, we just going to have to toughen and thug this thing out. You all get 1 to 2 outfits, small bag. I don't know. Keep the shoes that you have on because you're going to have to pack light, get toiletries, and hit it.
So on this clip, man, with Fox News clip, they titled it. I think the title of the clip what got me and what I want to watch it. It said, "Write your name on your body if you don't."
Ooh, that's
and
scary.
see, that's scary. That's what I was just
that's so
thinking with the
scary.
lady. I'm like, lady, y'all got to get in the car and just go somewhere. I'm guaranteed
dogs.
y'all could drive further enough to get away from a lot of the action. Like you said, it might not be comfortable. It might be a little ratty hotel, but y'all got to get out of there.
Yeah.
That's tough having a big old family and not full of resources. That's tough. That's tough.
As we are tracking what will eventually become Hurricane Milton, expected in a matter of days to impact the Gulf Coast of Florida. You heard from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just about 30 minutes ago, and right now I do want to bring in Florida's Attorney General Ashley Moody to talk a little bit more about the preparations here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us this morning, as I know you do have a very busy time ahead of you.
Sure. Yes. Great to be with you. As you know, the Tampa Bay area within Florida is in the direct middle of the warning cone.
Wow.
And everyone here is pulling together in preparation as we are still reeling and feeling the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
I want to start from the beginning here because yesterday we really saw everything kind of start to develop there with Milton. So just tell me, as you just experienced Hurricane Helene and the powerful storm there, as well as the aftermath, what goes through your mind when you do hear that now you're going to be dealing with another major storm that's striking the Gulf Coast of Florida?
Well, if you'll remember with Hurricane Helene, it hit the Big Bend area of Florida directly. That's right where the state starts curving. And Tampa Bay, which is a very large urban population, and includes Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, Pasco County, it kind of got that outskirts, but it still experienced significant storm surge. We are still recovering from that. As you know, the Tampa Bay area is where we experience the most loss of life, which is our biggest concern when storms like this hit.
Wow.
And as you know, property was very much affected, and we still have a lot of debris and cleanup material, appliances, couches, I can go on and on, that were removed from homes and are waiting to be removed. And so to hear that you're now going to be predicted to be in the direct path of what will be a major hurricane, significant winds, significant storm surge, is incredibly concerning.
Yeah.
And so, as we're dealing in the aftermath of Helene, we are now all hands on deck, pushing forward to prepare for Milton. And, as Florida is used to these natural disasters, we have a great teams in place from the state level, Governor DeSantis, on down to our county level Emergency Operations Center. I will just compliment both Pinellas.
So is Miami getting hit too? Because if you look at the red on that, so maybe it's just going to force all the way through Tampa, but Miami is a big difference of distance. But if Miami going to get hard, but you want to hear them talking about Tampa, so I'm assuming Miami going to be fine.
I guess.
They probably get all the nasty rain.
I guess, based off of where it's located and how it's positioned.
And Hillsborough, who did a great job. But now that we're back in that cone, we're asking residents to please heed evacuation warnings. That's our number one message. There were folks that didn't heed those warnings and wish that they had during Hurricane Helene. And so our number one message right now, pay attention to your evacuation zone. If you are asked to leave, please do so. You don't have to go hundreds of miles away. Just get inland, get to higher ground. And that is our number one message right now.
And does it make it even more important to evacuate if you are under that evacuation order, considering some of those areas were just so heavily impacted? I know I saw some of the photos coming in out of Clearwater, Florida, for instance, where the roads were flooded and there was that damage left behind. So does that make it even more important than ever to evacuate those areas that have already been hit?
It's incredibly important. The ground is saturated as that storm surge comes in. We have just dealt with that. It's saturated. That presents very real challenges to being able to absorb that water. And so, again, and I know there are so many people. This is my home county. Born and raised within this county in Florida. We have so many friends that are still reeling from the affects of Hurricane Helene. And I do think, because we just experienced this, I spoke with the mayor here in Tampa, who said, we think Helene is going to help us get through to folks in terms of evacuation for Milton, because even those that chose to stay within those very low-lying areas subject to storm surge, they saw what can happen. And it's not just during the storm where those risks are real. It's in the immediate aftermath when it's hard to get communications to you. In many areas, we were 99% down for electricity. You don't have cell service, you don't have internet. Really what becomes valuable in those times is a handheld radio with a couple batteries so you can listen to AM radio, which is the entry point for our emergency alert system, for our National Weather Service, and getting information into communities. Low tech is sometimes very important in these natural disasters. I can tell you were those that had gone to electric locks in their homes, and after the storm passed and people were able to get back to their homes, they couldn't get in because they had gone to electric locks and the electricity was out. So the old school keys were much more useful. So again, pay attention to warnings, heed evacuation routes, and make sure if you're asked to leave an evacuation zone that you do so.
Wow.
And I know you just mentioned this, but I did want to kind of get your final take here. What sort of information do you want to get across to those people who are watching who maybe do say, look, we live in Florida, we see storm after storm come on through, no big deal. Again, you touched on this, but what information, what message do you want to get across to them right now so that they know, hey, if you're in an evacuation zone, evacuate?
You know, we saw during some of these natural disasters with the storm surge and some of the areas on the outskirts, water was up to almost over their heads. And I visited these places that took a direct hit. Those homes are not even there anymore. They are gone.
That's crazy.
So if you're thinking you're going to stay in your home in an evacuation zone and you've got a direct hit coming, it's not about whether you can wade through water to get out. It's not about whether you'll have the opportunity to get to higher ground or someone might be able to come rescue you. During that storm, law enforcement officers cannot get to you. And in many of these areas that take direct hits and that storm surge comes up, those homes are gone. They are washed away. So loss of life is predictable where it will happen. We just need people to work with us and leave. I've heard people say it before. If you choose to stay where there is a direct hit, make sure you write your name on your arm so that we know who you are. You've got to heed these evacuation warnings.
That means it's going to be so
we do know
serious.
that first responders' lives are also put at danger when they are going out to rescue people, so other people should keep that in mind as well. Ashley Moody there, Florida Attorney General, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. We appreciate it.
Great. That's why we got to
Write
be
your
rich.
names
That's why we
on
got to be
your
rich.
arm.
We got to be rich so we can be able to help people like that lady.
Yes.
You know, just to
Yes.
send her a random cash app or something to Zelle because
here's $10,000 to be able to get away.
I didn't say 10. I was thinking more like 5,000.
Yeah, because that 5,000 will get you in your truck.
It'll
You
do a
wouldn't fly
lot
nowhere,
for
but you
her
get in your truck and get
and-
you somewhere to
and
stay
drive.
to the storm passes
a
until
little
you
bit
get
more
back.
comfortable for that number of people and groceries and stuff. So five, but 10 is a lot, but 5
Lord,
is
you know what
good.
I need to help your people.
Because it's like what they just said. She's saying she can't get out, but they're telling that if you were in an evacuation
Write your
zone,
name on your
you
arm.
need to leave. And she's like, where they gonna go? Well, she's got to get creative. I hope the other people saw
I
this
hope
video
she got her butt in that truck. They
And
load all the
thugged it
kids.
out.
Get what y'all can get.
and thugged it out.
And go.
It's so
because
I
it looks like
mean,
people going to be in the back. People, the dogs. You put the dogs back there. You have maybe one child or two child. Y'all need to be in that little back part,
Yep.
chilling out with
get
the dogs.
dog food and get to stepping. And the thing is too, I mean, the worst case scenario, I don't know how the national parks are there where you got to drive to get to a state park in Florida that's in the clear, but even that could be an opportunity if that's an option.
Yeah.
I don't know, where they are located in comparison to the threat, but if it's in a non-threat area or zone, that would be the absolute cheapest route. You got access to restrooms. You can bathe. You're just going to be sleeping out your car, you and everybody and the dogs.
We said what kind of spot?
Like a state park.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's
And
if
then-
you have limited to zero resources.
Or, it's a good. That's why I tell everybody. I'm sorry. It's good to have a gym membership at a gym that's to go every.
But in this case, that may not even be an option. They're going to have somewhere to sleep. So trying to go to a gym and bathe is not really going to be the first thing that they think about in this situation. They're going to want to most likely find shelter first and then see what's around them.
True.
But they were most likely, that's why I said even with the state park, you can at least drive in and you can sleep there.
True.
And feel a little safe.
True.
Everybody in the car, if you need to go and pee and use the bathroom, you can go to the bathroom. You can even shower. They got showers there.
Yep.
So
What's the next city up from Tampa?
I don't know.
Is it Orlando? What's up from Tampa?
and they said that you don't even have to leave the state. You can
See,
just
that was my
go,
concern.
Yeah.
See,
So
if
that's
you couldn't
really
If you
good.
couldn't leave the state and your resources are low, that's heavy. That means it's like Lahaina again.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
you can leave the state. I mean, you can leave your area, just go upward, more upward. Well, I just feel like where there's a will, there's a way. There is a will, there's a way. Like Miami was like right on the edge of the water. I don't see how they weren't having to be evacuated. They right next to Tampa, or maybe they did. They just said evacuation zone A and B. Miami could be, but I hope those people there, I know a couple of people there. I hope they're safe. I'm going online and check to see, maybe send them a message to see if they're we're praying for them and if they're in a safe zone. That's why you need resources.
I mean, it's close to many cities, but I'm talking. I want to say Orlando as closest,
To Tampa.
like north.
Well, hopefully they're going to find a way out. They're going to find some other resources. Somebody's going to help them.
Brushnell County, Sumter County is about 50 miles north of Tampa. So if you could just get in your whip, go up to one of them towns, we can just get you a little hotel spot, and y'all could just post up there.
And make it happen.
And
yeah.
the thing is, though, this is the question started. When the storm hit, let's say you stay somewhere, how much you going to need? Because how long you going to be able to return if it's flooded waters? How you going to get out of it? You only got enough to stay to get back in your truck. You got to find going.
True.
Yeah, my goal. I want to be able to just reach out to these people on their Instagram and just send them money.
And
just
maybe,
like,
maybe
okay, they're gonna be straight.
Maybe because people know that the storm is there, and people have a heart and be lenient and allow people to, have a caring heart and allow people to stay a little longer if they need to, and maybe if they don't have the resources, especially if you got a humongous family.
True.
And you got elderly and you got little children.
True.
I think that's when people have to really, step aside and say, I'm going to be humane. I'm going to allow them to use my resources because I would want somebody to help me if I was in that situation. And that's what people don't do. They don't put themselves in that situation to say, if that was me, how would I feel? So hopefully hotel managers, that I'm talking about those people too, not people with just Airbnbs. I'm talking about people at hotels and, all these things. People can do whatever they want to do.
That's true. If
regardless
it's
of the role.
if it's deep enough, then the
Yes.
management they will shelter. It gets
accommodate
right
as much as you can. I know it's still a business and you got to pay your workers and all that good stuff, but where there's a will, there's a way. And that's just, so hopefully this lady and her family were able to get shelter and decided to leave and not stay there. Because after hearing this and then
write
thinking
your name
about
on your
her,
arm, scary. That's scary, the thought of that.
hearing that and then listening to what she said, it's like you don't have a choice but to evacuate if you want to live. Because, okay, maybe you can stay in the house, but what if the wind and the rain that's stuck may come also with it? Your house may not be able to withstand it. And it's going to be washed down the river. She said half of them houses weren't even there.
All right, y'all. We're going to pray. We're going to pray and need to do more than pray. Need to provide resources. But how is that? How is that possible to provide those resources and even know who needs the resources? So,
well, we're going to pray right now in the name of Jesus that these people are able to get the resources that they need to cover them and their family and get to safety.
All right, man.
In Jesus' name.
Thank y'all for watching this video, man. 2024 be more.
Talk less.
See y'all.
Love you guys.
Bye.